For more than 1,000 years, the British monarchy has walked the fine line between past and present. It has survived wars, revolutions, and shifting public moods, not by standing still, but by quietly adapting. Every generation of monarchs has faced the same challenge: how to preserve the dignity of the crown while keeping it relevant to the people it serves. Now, as the reign of King Charles moves through its early years, attention inevitably turns to the next in line, Prince William, the Prince of Wales. What kind of king will he be? He has already hinted at his answer. Modern, measured, quietly determined to reshape royal life for a new century. Not a revolution, but an evolution. William belongs to a generation that values openness, practicality, and emotional honesty. He is a father raising his children in an era of smartphones and social media, a husband who supports his wife through illness, and a future king who knows the world no longer bows quite so deeply. He has spoken often of the need for change, not reckless change, but change for good. Change that simplifies, that streamlines, that reflects the world as it truly is. This video explores what that might mean. What happens when 1,000 years of ceremony meets the quiet practicality of a man who prefers chinos to robes? Tonight, we look at 6 eccentric royal traditions that Prince William may choose to modernize, simplify, or let go entirely. To understand William's vision, we must first understand the man himself. Born into the full glare of royal life, he has witnessed both its splendor and its strain. As a child, he watched his parents' every move dissected by the press. As a young man, he saw how the monarchy could soar on waves of affection and stumble under the weight of expectation. From those experiences came a philosophy: duty must be grounded in authenticity. He knows that public trust cannot be commanded by protocol alone. It must be earned through relatability and restraint. Queen Elizabeth II embodied stability. Her long reign was rooted in formality, distance, and unwavering control. King Charles has favoured reflection, conversation, and symbolism. William, however, is likely to bring something else entirely: a style that feels human. He has grown up in an age where formality can alienate as easily as it can inspire. And so, when he speaks of change, he means a monarchy that listens as much as it leads. But modernising royalty is never simple. It requires care. For every tradition that looks outdated, there are thousands who cherish it. So how might this new kind of king reshape the customs of old? The first and perhaps most visible symbol of royal tradition lies in what they wear. For centuries, Britain's monarchs have been draped in robes of velvet and ermine, crowned in jewels, and adorned with ribbons, medals, and feathers. It is the theatre of monarchy, the splendour that fills the world's television screens. Yet William has shown little appetite for such display. While his father delights in ceremonial dress, William is most comfortable in an open-neck shirt, navy blazer, or simple jumper. He has almost never worn a kilt in public, despite his Scottish titles, and often avoids the elaborate uniforms his father enjoys. At official visits to the Duchy of Cornwall, staff who once wore ties now dress informally when he arrives. The tone is relaxed, practical, modern. Even among royal women, the quiet revolution continues. Gone are the days when nude tights were mandatory at every engagement. Bare legs, once unthinkable, are now normal. This approach signals more than a preference for comfort. It's a statement about accessibility. William understands that the more approachable the monarchy appears, the stronger its connection with ordinary life. But there is a danger too. The monarchy's magic lies partly in its ceremony, the colour, the texture, the pageantry that sets it apart. Royal historian Hugo Vickers once warned that once pomp is lost, it cannot always be recovered. And that may prove true. William must decide how much pageantry to preserve. The coronation of the future could be less about robes and rituals, and more about symbolism that feels real, rather than remote. He may still wear the crown, but perhaps without the full weight of theatrical costume. A monarch who reflects the age he lives in, rather than the one he inherits. The British monarchy is a treasure chest of curious roles and ancient offices. There is, still today, a keeper of the swans, a warden of the cinque ports, a yeoman of the china and glass pantry. There was once even a herb strewer, whose job was to scatter fragrant petals before the monarch as they walked. They are charming relics of the past, but relics nonetheless. William has spoken of a slimmed-down monarchy. In practice, that likely means a smaller group of working royals and a simpler system of household management. He will probably retain the key traditions that sustain national identity: trooping the colour, the state opening of Parliament, investitures. But those inner workings that serve little purpose may fade away quietly. It is not hard to imagine how it might happen. As older courtiers retire, certain positions may simply not be refilled. Tasks could merge. Whole departments might be streamlined. Even the centuries-old rhythm of royal life, the moving of the court between Balmoral, Sandringham and Windsor, may change. When Queen Elizabeth reigned, her household followed her across Britain, travelling like a small city. But William, a father of school-aged children, will almost certainly stay based in Windsor during term time. Balmoral will become a summer retreat, Sandringham a holiday base. But the constant travel may end. It is a vision of monarchy not as a caravan of courtiers, but as a family, living in one place, leading by example. The grand titles and quaint customs may survive in history books, but the daily rhythm of royal life could become simpler, steadier, and more in touch with the nation it represents. If there is one change that perfectly captures the difference between the old monarchy and the one to come, it is this: William does not expect anyone to bow. In the past, there were elaborate codes of behaviour. You did not turn your back on the monarch. You did not speak until spoken to. When you left the room, you walked backwards. It was an age when deference was automatic, a time when the crown seemed both divine and distant. But the world has changed. William is known to greet people with a handshake, a smile, and often the words, "Just call me William." To many, that informality feels refreshing. To others, it feels a loss of grandeur. But this shift is not disrespect. It is recognition that reverence must now be earned through example, not demanded through protocol. As king, he may keep the courtesy titles, Your Majesty and Your Royal Highness, for formal occasions, but he will not insist upon them in daily life. For his children, too, the same principle will apply. When they reach adulthood, it is unlikely he will expect courtiers to curtsy to them. He wants his family to be respected, not worshipped. In truth, that attitude may do more to preserve the monarchy than any ceremony. For an institution to survive, it must breathe the air of its time. And in the 21st century, humility carries more power than pomp. Few royal events embody Britain's love of ceremony quite like the Order of the Garter. Every June, Windsor Castle hosts a scene straight from a medieval painting. Noblemen in heavy velvet robes, plumes rising from their hats, marching towards St. George's Chapel as trumpets sound. For centuries, it has celebrated honour, chivalry, and service to the crown. But even this pageant may face revision under William's reign. He is likely to keep the order itself. It represents duty, tradition, and national gratitude. But the spectacle surrounding it may be gently toned down. The emphasis, perhaps, will shift from the royals in their feathers and robes to the honorees themselves, the scientists, soldiers, and citizens whose service merits recognition. Where past monarchs have relished the grandeur, William may choose restraint. The robes may appear less often. The procession may shrink. It would not be the first time such rituals evolved. Many of the ceremonies we consider ancient have, in truth, been adapted repeatedly over the centuries. So if future Garter days appear simpler, less theatrical, more focused on purpose, That will be in keeping with the quiet revolution already underway. William understands that ceremony still matters. It connects the public to their history, but he also knows that too much spectacle risks making monarchy seem out of touch. In his hands, the goal will be not to erase pageantry, but to purify it, to let it breathe, to make it meaningful once again. If tradition could be measured in square footage, the monarchy would be unmatched. For generations, royal life has unfolded across a network of grand residences: Buckingham Palace, Windsor Castle, Sandringham, Balmoral, and the private homes that branch from them. Each palace has its history, its staff, its rituals, and its costs. William may see things differently. While Queen Elizabeth moved her court between homes and King Charles divides his time between several estates, William appears rooted in Windsor. His focus is on stability, his children's schooling, his wife's health, and a sense of home that does not shift with the seasons. In his world, the monarchy can lead a simpler existence. Gone, perhaps, will be the days of printed memos and layers of secretaries. Communication will happen through WhatsApp groups and modern systems. Decisions will move faster. He is unlikely to order fresh insignia stamped on napkins or have china embossed with his personal cipher. Where his father delights in detail, William prefers function. This is not indifference, it is symbolism. A monarchy that lives modestly, even within palaces, sends a message of restraint at a time when many citizens face financial strain. It is the monarchy as service, not spectacle. Still, the great houses, Balmoral, Sandringham, Windsor, will remain national treasures. But their role will evolve. When the crown passes to William, the world will watch not for spectacle, but for meaning. 1,000 years of history rest upon his shoulders, yet his power may come from what he chooses to lay down. For in the end, the monarchy's strength has never been its grandeur. It has been its ability to change quietly, without losing itself. And in that quiet evolution, Prince William may yet ensure that the story of the British crown continues, rooted in history, shaped by modernity, and carried forward by a king who understands both.